This is the Lotus Bloom podcast. And here's your host, Morgan Wylie.
Oh my gosh, I love my intro so much. Wasn't that fun? And a big shout out to my husband, Stephen James Wylie, and my daughter. That was my oldest daughter whose voice you heard. Welcome to the Lotus Bloom podcast. And like she said, I'm Morgan Wylie. I am so excited to be here. You have no idea how long I have been trying to make this happen. And it's finally here. I never thought I would do a podcast. In fact, I refused to do one for quite a while. It was my husband who put the idea in my mind about a year ago, and I said, no, thank you. But the idea was planted, and it kept nagging at me and poking me, and it grew until it was something that was just weighing on my heart and my mind, and I knew I had to do it. I am a creative, and it was in me to try something new, and I was challenged by that inner voice deep inside that this was something that I needed to try. So here I am, being faithful to that creative spirit. For a long time, I wouldn't even acknowledge or think of myself as a creative. In high school, I liked math, and now that I am homeschooling my daughter and doing 5th grade math, I don't remember hardly any of it, so that's fun. And my point is that I liked math and business, and I couldn't reconcile that I could be a creative person and love business at the same time. I thought I had to be one or the other, and so it made more sense in my mind to be logical and practical and be focused on business. But then I became a writer, and I released that creative spirit within me and have been doing it for the last 10 years and love every minute of it. And it fuels me and lights me up, and I'm excited about it. So here's a little bit about me and a rundown of my business and creative endeavors over the last many years. I've followed passions in retail and interior design. I've created real estate and development businesses with my husband, Stephen. And more recently, I'm an award-winning and USA Today best-selling author of 15 plus titles published across genres, including young adult fantasy, adult paranormal romance, and more. I'm a wife of 18 years, and I have 2 beautiful daughters. And my desire for them is to see me going after my dreams and my passions and the things that I want to create and bring into our realities so that they know that they can do it too. I'm inspired by so many creatives, both men and women alike, but especially women. And I want this podcast to be a place of inspiration and a place to have conversations with women who create, to know how they create, when they're in the midst of it. How do they keep going? How do they create things when life gets in the way, when things are tough, when things are challenging, or when they're exciting and inspiring? I want to know all those things. I want to know how they grow and flourish their creations. I want a glimpse into their path of creativity from dream to reality. And I want to share that with you. Symbolism means a lot to me, and who doesn't love a good analogy? I'm a writer, I like analogies, I like stories. So why the lotus? And why did I name this podcast The Lotus Bloom? The lotus flower is an inspirational symbol throughout all of history. It's a symbol of rebirth and reincarnation, and it grows in the most fascinating way. It roots itself deep under the water, in the mud, and daily it pushes its way through these dark, murky waters, usually small waters, ponds, things like that, and it pushes its way up to the surface to get through to reach the sunlight so that it can bloom above the water. It does this every day. It goes back down and then begins again. I find that fascinating that it reaches for the light to flourish into the beautiful bloom it was intended to be after making its way through dark, challenging, dirty waters. And it comes out beautiful, just as it's supposed to be. This is our dreams becoming our creations. Sometimes this is us going through challenging, dark, maybe lonely times in our lives, but pushing through still, no matter what, to get to the light, to get our creation out into the world, to let it bloom. I'm encouraged to let these journeys grow us and strengthen us so that we're ready to support the bloom, the creation, when it's time for it to breach the waters. The lotus is also a symbol of hope. It's hope for me to create again each day, that there's something new, we can begin again. I have a reminder of this. I have a tattoo on my foot of the lotus flower and an arrow, and it tells me to keep going, that there's hope for each day, that I can start over and begin to create. I've had my own bumps and detours along the way, but you know what? I just keep going because my dreams and my passions and the things I want to do are so strong in me that nothing is going to get in the way. And I want this podcast to be a place of hope for you as you create, to keep growing, to keep creating, keep rising, and keep pursuing your passions. I hope you join me and be encouraged by the stories, these lotus stories of others as they've made their dreams become their creative realities, because yours can too. And welcome to the Lotus Bloom podcast.